Welcome to St. Louis Cardinals Beyond the HOF, saluting unsung heroes, with your hosts, Tom Nance
and John Crust.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. I need to report to you that life has been happening to John and I, so we don't have an ordinary episode for you. We apologize for that, but due to personal circumstances, we've been unable to produce our usual product. Researching, writing, and recording our episodes takes a considerable amount of time, and our circumstances just aren't allowing for that at the moment. So, if you want to throw us some support, show some love as we try to move along in our salutes to unsung heroes, send us an email. We'd appreciate that. The email address comes at the close of this recording. We hope to resume our typical podcast episode format on the fourth Monday of this month. You'll note that we usually publish on the second Monday of the month, which is today, and the fourth Monday. I do have a short baseball story to share with you. It is a hilarious beginning to a former Cardinals baseball journey. You might think that a typical professional baseball player's early experience might include lessons from a paid instructor, inclusion on an exclusive travel ball team, or maybe carefully guided support from a parent. Well, that's not even close to Danny Sheaffer's experience. Sheaffer played 3 seasons for the Cardinals, 1995, 96, and 97. And he has written a book entitled Keep Digging. Its subtitle is Discovering the Greatest Story Ever Told Through the Greatest Game Ever Played. It's available on Amazon Books and most other book sites. We learned about Danny when we interviewed him about Dave Ricketts, a spotlighted Cardinal, in a previous episode. I will read for you the opening pages to his book. If you like it, buy his book and listen to the podcast episodes where Danny is featured. Allow me to share a book with you and recommend the book to you. It's entitled Keep Digging, subtitled Discovering the Greatest Story Ever Told Through the Greatest Game Ever Played by Danny Sheaffer. We had the pleasure of interviewing Danny Sheaffer, and you can find our interview on previous episodes. Scroll down to where we talk about Dave Ricketts. We highlight Dave Ricketts, and Danny and another gentleman both took time out of their lives to generously share with us their remembrance of Dave Ricketts and what it meant to them in their lives. Danny has had an interesting career, still has an interesting career. He has spent over 40 years in professional baseball, much of it in the major leagues with various teams, including the St. Louis Cardinals. He also ended his career coaching with the St. Louis Cardinals. It wasn't the last team he coached with, but it was one he coached with quite a bit. The story involves with his involvement with professional ball for over 40 years. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a professional baseball player and to make a living at it and want to know what it's like behind the scenes, the grind, the challenges, the disappointments, the excitement? It's here in this book. And it's from the viewpoint of basically a journeyman. Danny did have some success at the professional level, the Major League Baseball level, but he wasn't a superstar by any means. So for him to share with us, to give us the details from his viewpoint, it gives you a real sense of what it's like to try and persevere and work through this sport. It's a great way of learning about how the game is dealt with. It's full of inside stories about people like Dan Herron, Yadier Molina, Adam Wainwright, and many others. It's very readable. It's also often laugh out loud funny, but it's got plenty of lowlights that Danny has had to work through. And he will tell you in the book that he was able to work through some of those low points in his life because of his faith in Christ. And he will be testifying on numerous occasions about how that affected his life. So that's an important part of the book. One of the things that I also walked away with is faith in humanity, faith in people like Danny Sheaffer, people who make good choices, who have others' interests ahead of theirs. And it's great insight into baseball. Let me read to you just the first part of chapter 1. It is funny, it is entertaining, And it's a very interesting start to learning about the sport of baseball. Here's Chapter 1, entitled, Can You Catch? Passion, like a cold, is something you can catch just by being in the right place at the right time. Passion is what gets you excited. It's what prompts you to do things others would never dream of doing. You lose track of all time. It's all you think about. You rearrange your life around it. That's what it looks like to chase your passion. I found my passion early in life. I was attending Mount Zion Elementary School. Shane, one of my classmates, was instrumental in the start of my baseball journey. I vividly remember playing kickball outside during school recess in central Pennsylvania, and Shane made comments about me not playing on his Little League baseball team. His comments bothered me so much that I wanted to fight him. I waited until after school one day, and I told my dad that I wanted to play baseball. His answer was, to me, was as expected, "Go ahead, play with your brothers in the backyard." I replied, "No, Dad, I want to play on a real team." I had never played on any organized team of any kind. I spent all of my free time hanging out in the woods, building tree forts, shooting a BB gun, or anything else you might think of that boys could do outside. After a little begging, my dad said, "Let's get in the truck and see if we can get you signed up." The headquarters for Little League registration was at our local fire station. The person behind the desk asked my dad for $5 in order for me to play. Then I was told what team I would be on and when my first practice would be. We were told to go to Fishing Creek Elementary School, and the team I was going to be on was the Pirates. I thought it was a cool name for a team, but really, I would have been happy with any team name. This was going to be my first real team practice. I was excited and nervous at the same time. Dad dropped me off at the baseball field, but he didn't stay to watch. My best guess is that he was headed to his other job. Dad would usually come home from working at the new Cumberland Army Depot, eat dinner, and then head out to put siding on houses to earn extra income. I met the coach, and before I could even get my name out of my mouth, he asked, "Well, what position do you play?" "I don't know," I told him. "Well, then go to left field." I was embarrassed, but I asked him with a confused look, "Where is that?" Looking back, I can only imagine what he was thinking. He pointed to the outfield and told me to go to the fence behind third base. Then he asked me where my glove was. When I told him that I didn't have a glove, he shook his head in disbelief. Our team's outfield fence was a snow fence made out of wire and thin wooden slats. I leaned against the fence, just hoping someone would hit a ball somewhere close to me. 30 minutes passed and nothing. Not even one ball came close to me. I don't know what I would have done if a ball had come my way, though. I didn't have a glove to catch it with. My good fortune came at the expense of our third baseman. A sharp ground ball was hit just in front of the infielder playing third base. A bad hop missed his glove and hit him in the chin. Next thing I knew, he threw his glove and was on the ground crying. My coach looked around and made eye contact with me. He said, "Hey, you, the new kid, can you play third base?" "Yes, sir. I sure can, if I can use his glove." The next 30 minutes of practice were perfect. I had a glove, I was catching ground balls, and I was having a blast. What I thought was perfect would all change with one pitch. I remember watching our catcher all suited up in that bulky gear catching batting practice. I wondered who in his right mind would want to be a catcher. Seemed pretty crazy to me to even want to play that position. A foul tip off of the bat of one of our hitters found its way to our catcher that made the injury to our third baseman look as though he'd been hit with a feather. The catcher was crying, on the ground, in pain. I didn't know his name, but I felt really sorry for him. I was so glad that I was a third baseman at that point. "Hey, you. Yes, you, the new kid. Can you catch?" the coach said. I will never forget those words. The only thing that came to my mind was, "No, I don't even know how to put the gear on." "Well, if you want to play on this team, you will learn to put the gear on." In a matter of 2 hours, I went from not having a glove and standing against the left field fence bored out of my mind to finding a temporary position at third base to being the starting catcher. After a few more practices, I had learned to put the gear on. I was actually enjoying the position. And so that's how a Major League Baseball player got his start in baseball, and the position of catcher was where Danny made his mark with the Cardinals and other teams. So that's the beginning of the book. I encourage you to read it, read all of it, enjoy it, to laugh, to be given all kinds of insights into baseball, and to learn about someone who always managed to keep digging, Danny Sheaffer. Thanks for listening to this episode of St. Louis Cardinals Beyond the HOF, saluting unsung heroes. Please share this podcast with others and subscribe so that you are alerted when episodes are published. Our episodes will be published bi-weekly on the second and fourth Monday of each month. Leave a review when possible. We welcome your feedback by email about how we're doing and what bench jockeys you'd like to see featured. Our email address is TommyJohnSTLCardinalsPodcast@gmail.com. It's all lowercase, Tommy, Tommy, John, John, STL, Cardinals Podcast@gmail.com. Go Cards!